Welcome, welcome, boys. I'll apologize in advance in case the AC unit kicks on, because I'm on the top of the roof. As this is the only good place I can get any light around here. So that may be noisy. But if it turns on, we're going to roll with it. It just kicked off. So this video is going to be in response to Panzer Platform. I reckon he watched one of my videos and noticed I had, I believe his words were, a weapons cache, and asked if I could only have 3 weapons. If I could only keep 3 of all of them, what would they be? And he then specified 1 long gun, i.e. rifle, 1 shotgun, and 1 pistol. What would they be? Now, at first, because he used the phrase pistol, and a pistol is a type of handgun just like a revolver is, I tried to get some leeway with him and said, well, since those 2 things are distinguishable, can I get 1 revolver as well? And he said, no, I meant handgun, 1 handgun. So unfortunately I have to lump my revolvers in with my pistols and make a decision. So I've lugged a bunch of my guns, not all of them, up onto the roof. And now we will go ahead and go over which ones I would keep. So we'll start with the rifles, the shotgun, and then finish with the handguns. And so the video isn't just a measly like 2 minutes. I'll go ahead and go over why I would keep some and not the others. And per Chuck, he classifies my AR-15 pistol as a rifle, as opposed to a pistol. Otherwise, that would be my pistol choice. And he also said, not for zombie apocalypse type scenario, but, you know, if that was it, I was going to the great beyond, and I could only take 3 of my guns with me while I'm up in heaven playing the harp and doing other fun stuff. What would they be? So, classifying this pistol as a short barrel rifle with a adjustable stock, as opposed to pistol brace, of these 3, here's what we have. Our Radical Firearms AR-15, that guy, the Bushmaster Carbon 15 Superlight, I believe is what that is, and then my grandpa's old World War II service rifle, the model 1917 Winchester, which I can't believe they were still using by the time WW2 came around, but I don't know, maybe he got some old stock, I guess, issued to him. So, of all the rifles, these are the 3 I lugged up here, and we're going to narrow it down to these 3. So, though the Winchester has some sentimental value to it, I do not think I would keep this as the only rifle. Though it does shoot as straight as an arrow, very accurate for being over 100 years old. It does fire the 30-06 cartridge. It is bolt action. It does work. And it is made of some nice high-quality wood. I even have a nice sling for it. This would not be it. Not very practical in the modern day sense, but it would get you out of a pinch. And we have our Bushmaster, a proper rifle, as it is have the standard length barrel, a adjustable stock. I do have my flip-up sights, along with my red dot laser flashlight combo, my Magpul angled foregrip, fob defense, magwell, and fob defense pistol grip, along with the 42 round mag. Fires 5.56 and 223. I do think I would have to keep this if we are in fact classifying this as a rifle. Now if we weren't, it would be the Bushmaster hands down, as it is the proper rifle. But going by Chuck's rules, this is a rifle, I would keep this one, as it is smaller and more practical to wield in a self-defense home intruder type scenario, and for putting a lot of rounds down range reasonably close where you would most likely be should you had to use this thing ever. And it's metal construction. Plus these mags work in here. Fires 223 or 556. Now at the moment this isn't fully upgraded like I would like. I ordered some parts for it, namely that grip for here and that mag pull angled foregrip for the M-lock as well. But that hasn't come in yet, so we'll do a video on that once it gets here. Those I have to do for now. But this would be the gun I would keep, just because it's smaller, more compact, I believe easier to maneuver. It's a better quote-unquote rifle than this full-size one, in my opinion. Because as a YouTuber I watched once said, I forget his name, you can't legally shoot someone from 200 yards anyway, so it makes more sense for the civilians to have this. And I would agree. Cannot argue with that logic. So, this would be my rifle long gun that I would keep if I could only keep one. Let's move over to the shotgun. Okay, boys, and this shouldn't surprise anybody, but obviously I would have to go with the Citadel Boss 25 as my shotgun. I didn't feel like lugging the other ones up here, but if you want to know, they are pump action. All the other shotguns I own, the only semi-automatic shotgun I have is the Boss. And having fired it, I rather like it. I like how easy it is to reload. Breaking it down isn't exactly the easiest, but it ain't that hard either. And I do like that I have options. 2 5-round mags, 2 9-round mags, and then of course the 20-round Pro Mag. These, of course, these and the 9-rounders will fire 3-inch magnums. You can only put 2 3/4 inch inside the drum though. But that's an awful lot of firepower for a shotgun. And having shot it, it chews through the magnums just fine. It also fires these just fine, as long as they are high brass. At the moment, if you fire the no brass / low brass out of this thing, where this part goes to like there, it does not like those. Word on the street is possibly if you just leave this locked open for like a month, the spring gets a little looser and then it'll work. But I ain't worried about all that. I just don't plan on firing those kinds of rounds out of it now that we have tested it. And I'll have a link for that video in the description, as I forgot to shoot all the good ones through it and film that. Sorry for that air kicking on. But I did fire the no brass ones, and does a shit job firing them, jammed every time. But no, this is obviously the gun I would take, not the pump action, because why would you when this dude has enough firepower to get her done? So if I had to pick the one shotgun, it would be this one. Alright, so let's move on to the handguns. Okay, I waited till the AC kicked off for the finale here. So of the guns I brought up here, 9 of them, since these aren't their own, we have to include them all together here. Although I will say, if revolvers were between the two, well, we'll get to that in a second. So, these are the guns that I use / carry / shoot, depending on, you know, the season or the application. So we'll start up at the top left. That is our Taurus G2C. So it's like a $200 gun. I got this to carry when I go out and I need a small compact gun that is reliable, that is cheap, so if I have to pop somebody and it gets seized, not a big deal. It is a double stack 9 that is capable of firing plus P. And so if I go out, I will carry this if I'm not carrying this PPS. PPS is a single stack 9, also capable of firing plus P rounds. This was about $300 and some odd gun when I got it. If I want ultimate concealability, I will carry this when I go out. Not because it has the most firepower, but simply because it prints the least with its thin profile. I traded that PK380 in, that problematic one that sucked, for this. That was the next closest size gun. That was also a Walther that I really digged. So I would not keep this if it was the only gun I could keep. I only carry it because of its practicality. And if I feel like I need a few more rounds, because this magazine is the 7-rounder, so you can also get a flat 6-rounder that does not have this pinky part here, or an even longer one that is the 8-rounder. Only carry it for its concealability. This, if I need almost the same concealability but a little more firepower. If I'm in a little bit worse of a neighborhood, I'll carry this. Now, I have always wanted a Ruger 57. Well, I'll take that back. I've always wanted a gun that fired the 5.7, but FN, being the only one at the time, was kind of pricey. But then Ruger came out with one. It's small, it's lightweight, and when this thing fires, it is like next to no kick. I love how this gun shoots. It's awesome. Feels good in the hand. Perfect. But I only bought it really because I wanted a gun that can fire the 5.7. Ruger answered the call with a much cheaper alternative to the FN, but it wouldn't be my pick if I could only keep one. Close though. The Yeet Cannon from High Point. People be talking smack on High Points, but I saw Demolition Ranch throw one out of a helicopter and it still worked. Plus, he shot it with a bunch of other guns and it still worked. So these things can take a hit. Plus, it is a meme gun, the Yeet Cannon. So this is the ultimate truck gun if there ever was one. Only paid $100 and some odd for it, I think. Maybe $2, I don't quite remember. But, you know, I'm not above shooting somebody with this thing and yelling yeet when they kick the front door in, if I happen to be right near this thing. Or if I happen to go into a really shady area and I feel there's a high probability I might not leave the car and need to use a gun. If I leave the car, I'm either carrying this or the G2C. But if I'm going to stay in the car, I will keep this thing just chilling in there with me. That way I can pop them. And then, you know, when they seize this as evidence, and not a big thing. But not my number one pick. This is the only gun I could keep. Does fire plus P rounds though. So we're coming down to the wire here. As a kid, I always loved James Bond, and in the Brosnan era, he carried a Walther P99.
Mentioning it, 007, but a perfect marksman isn't really supposed to shoot his own boss.
So Daniel Craig for the Casino Royale movie. This is the Gen 2 P99, which I think looks even nicer than the Gen 1. Without that ski slope, ski hump trigger guard. So I've always wanted one of these guns. Bought one day. And I do carry it almost every day. This is what I carry to work. This is what I carry at work. But that said, it is a very practical firearm. And though very iconic, not the one I would keep if I could only keep one. Which brings us to our PPQ. The successor to the P99 does everything the P99 did, but better. Better grip, better trigger, better action, a polygonal rifled barrel, makes cleanup easy, it fires every bit as easily as the P99, very accurate, very tough, very durable. I love this gun, absolutely love it. Fantastic. Walther really outdid themselves with this. And one day I hope to get the new PPX and see how that stacks up against the PPQ. When I first got this thing, I was like, well, I'm going to get it just because. It's a Walther, and it's like my P99, but better, allegedly. And I will say that they outdid themselves. They did a damn good job with this gun. Absolutely love it. Plus, it kind of fits in all my P99 holster stuff, so you don't have to buy extra mag pouches and stuff. But I really only carry this in the wintertime when I want the full firepower. If I want maximum firepower, you know, I keep the P99 for work. So I pop somebody off duty, I don't have to surrender that gun. I can pop them with this, and then not a big deal. I'm still using my P99. I'm going to work the next day. But, no, I would not keep this as my only gun. So it's down to these three, boys. The Smith & Wesson Model 686 Plus, the Ruger Vaquero, and the 1911. So this was my grandpa's. He has since passed. It is now mine, and I have always loved a single-action revolver. As my boy Obi-Wan Kenobi once said,
not as clumsy or random as a blaster, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age.
and I believe that's what the single-action revolver is to a modern-day automatic or even double-action revolver. This would be a Jedi's weapon if the Jedi existed. Here at this time, they would carry single-action revolvers because it is very elegant and there is just something special about it. I love this gun. The craftsmanship and the quality. This, my Smith & Wesson Model 686 Plus, was actually the very first handgun I have ever purchased. Bought it to carry off duty years ago when I carried a Glock as my duty weapon. I hated the Glock. It was a Glock 22 40 caliber. Absolutely hated it. It was department issued, and I wanted to get away from it as much as I could. But I wanted something semi-practical, so instead of getting the single action, I got this double action. And then I even used the Obi-Wan quote, why I bought a revolver when I carried an automatic all the time. It was because I wanted a more elegant weapon for a more civilized era. And this being the 686 Plus, it holds 7 rounds, not 6. 357 is what it is chambered in, and it does have the Hogue grips, the heavy-duty trigger and hammer. I believe they add carbon to it to make it much harder. This gun was also made famous in quite a few movies. I can't name them all off the top of my head, but when I see one, I do notice it. It's like, hey, he's got a 686 Plus. But one I do remember, one of my favorite movies is V for Vendetta. Mr. Creedy uses this gun, and at the end, he blows away the Chancellor with it and then fires several rounds into V, even reloads it and empties the cylinder again before being stabbed to death by V.
Goodbye, Chancellor. Mr. Creedy.
Disgusting. Kill him.
And I always thought that was pretty cool. I always saw the movie before I ever bought the gun. But I love the movie, and I always thought that was a mean-looking revolver. Just got this big, meaty thing when you get the 4-inch barrel right down here. And I just always wanted the gun, and then that's why I bought it. Love this gun. I used to actually carry it frequently as, you know, being an off-duty gun. It was very heavy, not very practical, but my grandpa did make me a holster for it before he passed many years ago, and so I would carry it in its holster. And now it usually just sits near me when I'm, you know, playing my video games or watching TV, so I pity the fool whoever walks in on me, because it's going to be a bad day for him. And yes, he will be killed by an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. And then we have the 1911. I've also been a fan of this gun. Very famous, very old, used by the armed forces, the military, made by almost everybody now. Anybody who makes guns has a 1911 that they offer. But as you can tell by the grips, I always was a fan of the movie Cobra starring Sylvester Stallone. And one of the best parts of the movie is just in the very beginning in that shopping mall, where that dude goes crazy and starts blowing everybody away. And then Stallone shows up, he gets in there.
You wasted a kid for nothing. Now I think it's time to waste you.
He tells the guy, you know, you're a disease, I'm the cure, blows him away with his 1911.
I'm a hero of the new world.
You're a disease, and I'm the cure.
But the best part was he said he was going to blow them all up or blow the whole place up or something like that, and Stallone's like, go ahead, I don't shop here.
I got a bomb here. I'll kill her. I'll blow this whole place up.
Go ahead. I don't shop here. I don't deal with psychos. I put them away.
It's like, what a badass. What a badass. And then he blows the guy away with the 1911. Well, this one is a Rock Island Armory. It does have, I believe these are also Hogue grips. But I got the Cobra grip handles there. And I just always did like it. Steven Seagal's used it in some of his movies as well. Countless others I can't think of, but these are the three that we've narrowed it down to. So of the three, which would I have? If I could only keep one, what would it be? My grandpa's, Mr. Creedy's, or Stallone's. It would have to be the 1911. If I could only keep one gun, it would be the 1911. There's just something about a 45 and the amount of damage that this thing can do. I love the gun. It fires, it doesn't kick really. Anyone who's fired a 45 or 1911 especially would know. I mean, it doesn't really have the kick. It's just such a heavy gun that the recoil is really negligible. And they've had over 100 years to really perfect its design. Not that there was anything wrong with it from the get-go, but, you know, we have extended beaver tails now, ambidextrous safeties, though I could take the ambi safeties, take them or leave them. They're not too hard to disassemble. I love them. This would be the gun I would take. So in summary then, that's the three guns I would have. The Citadel Boss 25 is my shotgun. A Radical Arms AR-15 pistol, because per Chuck that is not a pistol. But if it wasn't a pistol, it would be the Bushmaster. Since it is, we have to take that one, and then of course, of the pistols, it would be this Rock Island Armory 1911. So this video was more for Chuck than anyone. Hopefully you enjoyed watching it and listening to me. And if you're anybody else that's happened to be watching and listening, hopefully now if you wondered anything about me, those would be the guns I would keep and why, and what I do with all the other ones, why I even own them. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if so, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, boys. Peace.